Talk about tonight, Donald Trump is losing his mind and his hands. He's inventing new ways to do makeup wrong, and he has a dream that one day he will not be judged by the content of the Epstein file. Let's kick things off with distractions. What it looks like when they're fed to the media and what it looks like when they don't work. Because right now, Donald Trump is desperate to move on from the Epstein files, but the story is only building. To me,
picture this, you're getting absolutely dismantled by a man who sounds like he's politely requesting to see the store's return policy, but instead of asking for a manager, he's stripping your entire persona apart on national TV. That's exactly what just went down with Donald Trump. Josh Johnson didn't storm in swinging haymakers. He drifted in like a whisper, and somehow that made the blows land harder. No smoke, no fireworks. Just precision-cut deadpan truth that left Trump's inflated ego puddled on the floor. This wasn't a roast. This was a quiet execution.
Like held him down, shook him a little bit. We didn't do this one. But while we wait to see if Ghislaine survives this interview, Trump has been doing everything that he can to keep those files under wraps. He's even got his friends in Congress trying to help. Mike Johnson shut down the House just to avoid a vote on the release of the files.
What happens when a man who talks like he's narrating a software update slowly decides to roast the president into oblivion? You get Josh Johnson, America's softest spoken hitman, strolling to the mic with the threatening aura of a librarian, and somehow vaporizing Donald Trump's ego without even raising the volume.
President Trump made big promises about lowering drug prices once he got into office, but all the haters said he was never actually going to get it done. Well, guess what, haters? His promises just got even bigger.
We're going to get the drug prices down, not 30 or 40%, which would be great, not 50 or 60, no. We're going to get them down 1,000%, 600%, 500%, 1,500%. Numbers that are not even thought to be achievable.
Yeah, I also thought it would not be achievable to lower drug prices.
If you're enjoying this video, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Josh doesn't shout, he doesn't rant, he doesn't even break a sweat. He just calmly rearranges words in a way that makes Trump look like a guy who failed a CAPTCHA test for the presidency while others charge at Trump with sledgehammers. Josh arrives with surgical scissors and an expression of mild disappointment, and somehow, that's far more humiliating.
Just so you understand, lowering drug prices 100% means it's free. Lowering it past that means they're gonna give you money. Like, next year's Forbes billionaires list is just gonna be a bunch of dudes with leukemia. Okay? On the bright side, we're actually going to be bankrupting insurance companies instead of the other way around. You know, if Trump hadn't acted this sooner, that CEO would have shot Luigi.
This isn't an angry Twitter rant or a spit-flecked late-night monologue. No, this is slow-motion intellectual dismantling delivered with a straight face. Johnson doesn't roast with flames, he unfastens the screws that hold Trump's persona together, one slide joke at a time. If satire were a combat sport, Josh would have a black belt in passive-aggressive demolition.
Actually does have a plan here. It's not to put a cap on the drug prices. That'd be too easy and simple.
We're working very hard right now to get the other countries to lift up their prices a little bit and to get the drug companies to put it to them. And if they don't, the drug companies will have a lot of problems, and they are mostly agreed to it. And if the countries don't, then as an example, if it's Europe, I'll say that's okay. You're no longer allowed to sell cars.
And Trump, bless his reality TV instincts, walked right into it like it was a Miss Universe stage he forgot to prep for. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, shrinks the ego of a man addicted to loud cheers and fake grandeur like someone quietly pointing out that he's basically your uncle on Facebook with worse spelling and access to nuclear codes. You could feel the air leave the room when Josh listed Trump's greatest hits. Staring straight into a solar eclipse, pitching bleach as medicine, tweeting like a teenager with Wi-Fi and a grudge, Johnson sat there, face calm, voice steady, laying out the absurdity as if reading a sociology lecture. No exaggerations needed. That's the punchline. When your biggest comedic weapon is the truth, and the truth includes raking forests to stop wildfires, you're not doing stand-up. You're doing damage. Josh's brilliance is pretending not to try, delivering one-liners like spreadsheet entries that still hit like steel chairs. Trump, who insists on being the greatest ever, was reduced to a joke so dry it needed moisturizer.
that they clear Congress out for the summer like they found a dookie in the pool. But trying to shut down the release of the files only makes them more interesting. So over the last week, Trump has been throwing every distraction he can at us. And I want to go through some of them to show you how desperate he's getting. Let's start with his go-to distraction. Obama!
The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama.
And when Josh turned to Trump's vocabulary, oh boy, there's no political spin to save a man who thinks oranges is the plural of origins. Johnson dropped this with deadpan cool, like reading a tech support ticket. Trump's language. Flubs aren't simple mistakes, they're full-on hostage crises for grammar. And Josh is the negotiator who refuses to treat them seriously. Then came Trump's business legacy. What's a roast without revisiting the empire of gold toilets and failed steaks? Josh recounted the Trump University fiasco like it was a bedtime story that derailed into a horror tale. The audience wasn't just laughing, they were laughing that deep, healing kind of laugh that comes when someone finally says the truth out loud.
Treating Americans like a kid you can bribe with a treat. Allow me to demonstrate what Donald Trump is going for here. I don't care about pedophilia anymore.
This wasn't comedy for applause. It was group therapy hosted by a man who looks allergic to small talk, but wields poetic revenge like a scalpel. Johnson's dissection of Trump's ego was possibly the sharpest cut, because telling a man obsessed with crowd size that his approval ratings could fit on a cocktail napkin isn't just a jab. It's rewriting his autobiography in Comic Sans. Josh didn't blink. He didn't gloat. He delivered it like weather data, dry, factual, brutal. Trump thrives on spectacle. Josh is the quiet storm after it. He doesn't scream about corruption. He points out Trump can't spell it. He doesn't rage at scandals. He simply wonders if we expected better from the guy who thought a Sharpie could alter a hurricane. And the presidency, Josh treated it like a failed group project. Okay. So this contestant tried to build a wall with no budget and a Sharpie map.
Died back in 2019, but not since Tupac Shakur has a dead man dropped so many bangers. All right. Yesterday, video of the government questioning him back in 2010 started making the rounds, and you'll never guess whose name came up. Go ahead, guess.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
And just when you thought it was over, Johnson tackled Trump's post-presidency era, the rallies, the social media bans, the legal sagas that make law and order look like Bluey. Trump went from leader of the free world to guy yelling at golf balls, and Josh just tilted his head, making it sound like a sequel nobody asked for. The difference with this roast, most people come at Trump like he's a monster. Josh treated him like a broken toaster. The observation was so quiet it rattled. A reminder, if your base would buy a branded Bible and an NFT in the same week, you're not running a movement, you're selling a late-night infomercial with flags. And that's Josh's magic, not shouting over Trump, but calmly describing him into oblivion.
As a yes? I'll be honest, I've never heard anybody plead anything other than the fifth before. But this guy's so guilty, he's calling out every amendment he can think of. Like, no, what's the one with the women voting? 19, throw that in too. Now, this video is dropping less than a day since we found out Pam Bondi reportedly warned Trump back in May that his name was in the files multiple times. And it just so happens her next appearance was scheduled last night at a summit against human.
This wasn't your sweaty, yelling political roast. This was a clinical teardown with the calm precision of brain surgery and the emotional detachment of a DMV clerk in comedy. Loud mockery is like fireworks, flashy, noisy, over in seconds. Subtle satire, that's a landmine. You laugh, then freeze. Then realize the truth just detonated under you. Josh's style doesn't ask for attention. It takes it. While others scream, he strolls in, drops 5 words, and destroys an image people spent years inflating. That mirror reflection is funnier and scarier than anything you could invent.
Care about Coke or Trump's health, don't worry. He's got some true crime for you.
This morning, the Trump administration releasing more than 230,000 pages of records related to the assassination of civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr.
That's how bad things are for Trump. His back is against the wall so hard, he's releasing more Black history. Might be the worst distraction because all he did was remind us that he can declassify thousands of secret files, and people noticed.
Bernice King, the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., posted this picture on social media with the caption that simply reads, "Now do the Epstein files."
Let's face it, Trump feeds on chaos, he swims in it like a shark. Except his ocean is confusion and noise. You yell at him, he yells louder, you insult him. He fires back fivefold, but Josh, he doesn't shout, he doesn't swing. He leans in like he's about to ask your Wi-Fi password, then detonates a truth bomb in disguise. The next thought is, wait, this man had the nuclear codes? It's that sweet spot where absurdity meets logic until the absurdity is undeniable. The crowd's reaction, controlled chaos, stifled gasps, awkward laughs, then a slow, dawning oh no. He's right, when the laughter leaves you thinking, you've moved from comedy to surgery.
Trump knows Epstein so well. They were friends. Trump lived so close to Epstein in Florida that Epstein had to knock on his door and let him know he was on the sex offender registry. Like, that's how close they lived together. He knocked on the door, was like, "Hi, the court has ordered me to notify you that I'm in the area. I have been convicted of a few crimes, and I left my suit jacket over here last night, so..." That's crazy.
And here's the bigger picture. It says everything about where we are as a country. If it takes a soft-spoken comic to say what the 24/7's news cycle can't, that's telling. When institutions bend over backwards to stay neutral, comedians like Josh just say it. No shouting over the noise. Just whispering truth that somehow carries louder than a rally speaker. Trump's whole act is dominance, the branding, the slogans, the staged bravado, but Josh doesn't challenge that in the arena. He watches it from outside, like observing a rare zoo exhibit. That's why it's lethal. He's not in the game, so he can't lose it.
Are doing tariffs?
Damn right we are. I ain't scared of shit.
Not even more expensive housing?
Tariffs are off.
But that will increase the trade deficit.
On again.
Well, what about the price of breakfast?
Off in the morning, on at night.
But Canada is retaliating.
Off with Canada, on with China. We'll go to war with China. I don't give a f.
Josh, China has nukes.
No tariffs on China.
Josh's aim, laser precise, no need to sift through scandal after scandal. Impeachment after impeachment. He just pointed out that the emperor's hair is cotton candy and suddenly everyone saw it. The Teflon Don slipped past the FBI, dodged impeachment but couldn't dodge a roast as dry as sandpaper. It hit him where it hurts, the image, and no NDA can patch that. By the end, Trump didn't physically shrink, though that would be hilarious, but in logic, credibility, and presence, he deflated. Each quiet line cracked the golden statue further. Watching it was like seeing someone pop a balloon by whispering at it.
So many people that came out and they were like, look, what the whole reason that we joined this MAGA movement, the whole reason that we thought Trump being in office was a good thing is because it would mean more good jobs for Americans. And look, if you genuinely believed that, then I don't. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not being a. I'm saying, like, if you...
In this age of noise, Josh's most dangerous move is not caring if you notice, which, of course, makes you notice more. He's not chasing trends, he's delivering clarity. And in Trump's world of exaggeration, that makes him lethal. Trump wasn't ready. How do you fight back at a man who sounds like your accountant but cuts like a samurai? Johnson didn't just roast him, he quietly evicted him from respectability. Removed him from the conversation without even sweating. It was surgical, effortless. Almost beautiful. This wasn't about politics, it was about pulling back the curtain to reveal the emperor's clothes weren't missing, they never existed. And Josh didn't need to yell to do it, just a mic and patience.